Please help me welcome your incredible host, the amazing Stephanie Goldman.
Good morning, everybody. We have 172 guests on this webinar. I wanted to welcome you to our exclusive business presentation. My name is Stephanie Goldman, and I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I'm going to take a little bit of time to introduce our two speakers. Dan Charlier will be speaking to you first, and then Paul Ireton. These two men have a background, incredible background. Dan Charlier comes from the military, 13 years of experience in the Marines, 23rd Color Sergeant of the Marine Corps, carried colors at the White House. An amazing guy, but what he stands for is family, and what he has got a mission for building leaders. Paul Ireton comes from a background in mortgage and finance, and he transitioned to this business in his 20s. Combined experience with these two gentlemen on the call is almost 50 years of experience in financial services, and mostly in building people to live out their dreams. What you're going to hear about from these two guys is something that is going to be very special. And so this is one of those times in your life where you're going to hear something that could potentially change your life. And what do I mean by that? I'm not an exaggerator, but what I'll tell you is one thing you want to think about is never forgetting to live out what your dreams are. And you're going to hear something that's going to give you hope that you can do that in your lives and for your family. So without taking any more of your time, I'm going to first introduce our first speaker, Dan Charlier.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for that awesome introduction, Stephanie. Man, I feel special right now, right? So I'm so excited to be with you guys this morning. And I have to tell you, Stephanie said 50 years of financial services experience. That's combined. I want you guys to think that I've been doing this for 50 years. In 1998, I got introduced to this opportunity. And I saw this opportunity for the first time after 13 years in the Marine Corps. I was a firefighter in the Marine Corps. I did 5 years of special duty, kind of like what Stephanie talked about. Those 5 years, I spent 2 years as a Marine Corps drill instructor down at Parris Island. Those of you that are out in the Carolinas, I spent 3 years in DC, 2 of those years with the Clintons at the White House there. In 95, I took over the Marine Corps Silent Drill Team, which is the #1 drill team in the world. Those of you that are military, prior military, you know what I'm talking about. And in 1998, I saw this opportunity for the first time. I met my mentor in business. He was an entrepreneur, gentleman by the name of Ed Mylett. Those of you that follow him on Instagram and his shows. And he was 28 years old at the time, and I was 33 years old. And I saw this opportunity for the first time. I did it part-time while I was still in the Marine Corps. And after a year of doing it part-time, I left my 13-year military career and came full-time. And I've been with this brand, World Financial Group, for the past 25 years. And I've never been more excited about the opportunity than I am right now. So the opportunity that you're going to see, I believe, for the right person. And when I say the right person, if you're a dreamer, if you got some goals and you want to live out your dreams, I believe this is the #1 business opportunity, bar none. So I'm excited to share with you the opportunity. The name of our company is World Financial Group. You're also going to see in the background, you'll see Synergy Financial. Synergy Financial is part of World Financial. It's part of World Financial Group. So I'm excited to share with you guys. So let's jump into it. So one of the things that we do is our goal is to helping families build better futures. So when we're helping families build better futures, there's 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself as you're taking a look at this opportunity. 1, do you know someone who could benefit from this message? 2, can this information help you and your family and your friends financially, which it did for me in 1998? And are you intrigued by this business platform? Which means that, do you have a desire? Do you have a goal? Are you excited about potentially owning your own business? Our mission as a company is to help families from all walks of life build a better future. Now, we represent the biggest brands here, right? So from Transamerica to Global Atlantic to Pacific Life to Prudential to Nationwide, Everest, AMS, Athene, we have strength and selection. So we have access to the biggest products, from fixed annuities to index annuities to term life insurance, whole life insurance, index universal life, long-term care, business succession planning, and more products available. So we're bringing Wall Street to Main Street. So in 1998, when I was in the Marines and I was only making $30,000 a year, and Ed Mylett sat down with me and did a personal financial needs analysis for me, and I was blown away that I've heard of Nationwide, I've heard of Transamerica, I've heard of Pacific Life, I've heard of Prudential, but I didn't know the products that they had, and I wasn't educated financially. Some of you have heard the concept of financial literacy. One of the things that we do is we teach people, whether they make $30,000 a year, $30,000 a month, we teach financial concepts. One of the concepts that we talk about is the financial cornerstones, where we talk about there's 4 things that every family, whether a family makes $30,000 a year or $30 million a year, there's 4 things that most families are concerned about. They're concerned about protection. They want to protect what they have. 2, they want to grow what they have. 3, they want to have something safe. They want to have safety. 4, they want to understand tax advantages, which is really powerful. And I remember being 33, and Ed Mylett said to me, he said, "Charlier, have you ever heard the Rule 72? And I said, "No, I've never heard the Rule 72. And when he explained to me the Rule 72, I was blown away that I had never heard of the Rule 72. Albert Einstein called the Rule 72 the 8th wonder of the world, to show how powerful compound interest is. It's very simple. I heard something this morning while I was riding my bike. It said people, banks rob people and people rob banks. And I just started laughing when I heard that, right? So next time you go to the bank, I want you to take a look at the money market accounts, the CDs, the savings account, and look at the interest rate that you're getting at your bank. Most people don't know exactly what that means. What the Rule 72 is if you're getting a 2% rate of return on your money. Now you know the Rule 72. What the Rule 72 says, if you divide 72 into 2, that means that your money compounds every 36 years. And I remember when Mylett said to me, he said, "Charlier, mathematically, it's all math. Mathematically, it's impossible for you to become financially independent and debt-free if you don't know the rules of the game." And so one of the things that's beautiful about us is that we share these financial concepts. We share financial literacy with every single person that we meet, and all the families and businesses and all of that stuff, which is pretty exciting. Also, because we have access to all the companies, we're able to show families options for their money, right? So if you're saving long term and you're getting a fixed rate of return, you're getting a 1 or 2% rate of return on your money, right? Inflation now is at an all-time high now. So if you're getting a 1 to 2% rate of return on your money, you're not even beating inflation. Now there's products called index. Like if you ever listen to Warren Buffett, Buffett has 3 rules when it comes to saving and investing money. Rule number 1, always make money. I like that, right? I hope you got up this morning and you say, "Man, I'll make some money." Rule number 2, never lose money. I like that too. Most people now, they want to keep what they have, right? And here's rule number 3, never forget 1 and 2. Right? So the index products that all the companies that you've heard of that are advertising their brands to you, from Nationwide to Transamerica to Prudential, all these companies, they have these products. And you have to ask yourself, wow, if there's products like that, how come I've never heard of it? Great question. The financial service industry is a very biased industry. They're targeting affluent families and they bring these products to affluent families. Well, our cause is no family left behind. So we sit down with the average American family that no one will sit down with, and we educate them financially. The other thing that we teach families is reduce the impact of taxes of where they're putting the money. The IRS gives you 3 options, right? There's only 3 options. The IRS tells you, hey, we'll tax you now, we'll allow you to tax later, and we'll allow you to tax advantage, right? And most people are putting their money in tax now, tax later. They have no idea what's in the tax advantage. Well, one of the things that we're going to do for you complimentary for being with us this morning, we're going to do a complimentary financial needs analysis for you complimentary, and we're going to show you what's in that tax advantage. Now, when savings, you want to be sure to consider the effect that taxes can have on your income. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep, and it's not how much money you keep, it's where you keep that money, which is really powerful. Now, here's our product. So what you got a chance to see from me is, one, you got a chance to see a credible company, right? WFG is owned by a company by the name of Aegon. Aegon's a $700 billion company. They're the company that bought Transamerica. They own Aegon. Now, that was important to me when I was leaving my 13-year military career, because I didn't want to be part of a fly-by-night, get-rich-quick deal, right? Second thing you got a chance to see our crusade, which is financial literacy. You got a chance to see what we do for the consumer across the kitchen table. Now, here's our actual product. Our actual product is the financial needs analysis. This is what I got done when I was 33 years old. I was making $2,800 a month. Ed Milet sat down with me and he did a personal financial needs analysis for me. And the personal financial needs analysis covers 6 areas that are extremely important. Area number 1, cash flow, where you need to earn additional income and manage your expenses. Now, I learned how to manage my expenses when I was making $2,800 a month, but I had a cash flow issue. I wasn't making enough money. Do you know how many people right now are looking to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month part-time? I remember when that question was asked to me and I had a job, I said, well, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I can make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month part-time? And I had a mentor at the time that was making $50,000 a month that was willing to invest time to show me how to build a business. Second is emergency fund. Well, let me ask you a question right now. If you got an emergency, how much of your income do you have saved? How much of your expenses do you have saved? We teach families that you should have at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved. That's an emergency account, and we show you where to put that money. Can you believe we do this for families complimentary for free, right? Third thing is, let me ask you a question. If I ask you from a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to become financially independent? Financially independent. That means that you don't got to get up, you ain't got to go to work. The money thing is out the way. When's your goal to achieve that? Right? Do you know what your financial independence number is? Most people don't. We show you exactly a strategy, a proven strategy that shows you exactly how to become financially independent. Question number 2. Do you have a game plan on becoming debt-free? I want you to think about this. At some point in your life, you're totally financially independent, you're totally debt-free, and you've got cash flow and you're living your dream. What would life look like? We help you achieve that. Step 4 is proper protection. Let me ask you a question. See, when it comes to protection, we'll talk about insurance, specifically life insurance. See, life insurance is like sports. There's offense and defense, right? And what we're able to do with families is we solve challenges. One, you want to know, hey, I want to become financially independent. I want at some point where I got a couple of $1 million saved and the return of that money is giving me my current lifestyle. That is called your financial independence number, right? Step 2, with insurance, what happens if I die too soon, right? I'm married, my beautiful wife, Sophia. We've got four kids, right? Well, what happens if something happens to me? Well, she still has to deal with me being gone, but I don't want her to have financial pressure. So I have to protect that. Insurance allows you to do that. Third question is this: what happens if I get sick? Right. Well, I'm not going to put that on myself. What happens if someone gets sick? Right. If someone, there's a bigger chance of you being sick versus dying. Is that being protected? We show you exactly how to do that. You might say, well, Dan, I've never heard of that before. You might say, Dan, that sounds too good to be true. Well, companies like Nationwide, Pacific Life, Transamerica, all the brands that advertise to you and you say Nationwide is on your side. These are all the companies that have these products. So we're able to sit down with the average American family and not only teach them financial literacy, bring the biggest companies on Wall Street across their kitchen table complimentary for free. Build wealth, step 5, build wealth, where we show them how to strive to outpace inflation and reduce taxation. Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have that in place? If something happened to you right now, are you comfortable in knowing that your family's protected? And here's step 6. We show you how to preserve your wealth, reduce taxation, build a family legacy. So you're the person, you're the person that changes your family's tree forever. And because of you, and people, your kids go, man, my grandfather, my grandmother, man, they built a business. And not only did they build a business, but they protected it. They protected it. And then now it was passed on generations and generations and generations. So the next person you're going to hear from is one of my business partners. I've known this gentleman. I've known Paul Ireton, Paul and his beautiful wife, Miriam, for over 17 years. When I first met Paul, he was 22 years old. He was in the mortgage business. He was teeing it up. He became financially independent in his 20s. I call him a young millionaire. He's in his 40s. He just got in his early 40s. I think he's 40 right now. But I've known this guy for over 17 years, and I've watched him build a great business. And not only is he's a great entrepreneur, but he's a great dad. He's a great husband to his beautiful wife, Miriam. His brother, Nathan Ireton, is in business with him. His mom is in business with him. His other brother, he's got a family business right now. And we got a chance to travel the world. We've gone all over the world together, all through Europe, all through Paris, well, we haven't gone to Paris yet. We got to do Paris. We've been to Hawaii like 15 times with our kids. Our kids have grown together. And we have a lot of fun. Our motto is this: respect people, make money, and have fun, in that order. So now you get a chance to hear from Paul Ireton. Paul, take it away, and see you guys at the top.
Thank you so much, Dan. I was meditating this morning, and I was in the sauna, and I was just thinking about, I am a product of proximity. I just got lucky. I was in proximity with the right people, the right books. And sometimes it could be a choice. Sometimes we don't have a choice. If we grew up in a third world country and there's no way to escape that, maybe we don't have a choice. But you're in the land of the free, home of the brave. You do have a choice. And most of you here, all of you had a choice here to tune in this morning. I welcome you guys. I welcome you guys here. I want to thank you guys for your time. And you could do 100 different things, but you're tuning in here today. And to whatever the case might be, maybe you're just receptive to something bigger and better. Maybe you're open for change, whatever the case might be, but you want to enhance your life. That's how I felt when I first got started in the company 18 short years ago. And I tell you what, it's been better than ever. And I feel like I'm brand new in the business again. I got this renewed sense for contributing to people's lives and helping them, make their whether it's fiscally or just becoming a better leader in their family and their community. And I'm so excited to share with you guys a couple of thoughts today before we wrap up, and share you guys some thoughts on our business model. There's two parts of our business. One is an educational side of it, where we have revolutionized the way we distribute products, where in a sense where instead of having a sales approach, we brought an educational approach to what we do. We made it fun to learn about money. And if you can make it an educational approach, make it fun, it's not complex, we don't use complicated jargon and get in people's heads. Man, I've helped out single moms to doctors. Almost every week, there's a contrast like that where I get a chance to help out single moms with 4 kids. And just like I grew up in a household similar to that, to a doctor that, makes $1 million a year and wants to put away a $500,000. And there's always a contrast. But what I love about our business is we give peace of mind to the average American household and give a shot for those families that didn't have, no one's going to knock in my mother's door at that time, or my mother-in-law's door, that we got a chance to help. And there's so many families that are being left behind. If you understand our crusade and our mission, it's such a deep mission. It creates peace of mind for homes, right? I believe in a house and a home. The difference between those two things is peace of mind. And we deliver on that message. We deliver on that mission. And there's such a big difference in those two things. The other side of it is the business model, which I got intrigued about because, from the client standpoint, the education side, yeah, if I want to expedite financial independence, if I want to put more horsepower into it, well, I got to increase my earning power. And the only way to do that is for me to engage in something. That's why there's over 1 million drivers driving Uber. It's not because they need an extra $5,000. Most of them need an average of $600 to $700 to just pay off their cell phone bill, or to put their kids to college, or whatever the case might be. I meet all sorts of Uber drivers, and I'm sure you guys already know that by riding it, or maybe some of you are using the platform. So same in our platform, you could be utilizing the service, or you could be the driver for that. But outside of that, though, we pay pretty good. So it's not Uber money. It's more like Uber owner money, right? So you got the other side of this. I want to go over to 5 concerns of people when starting a business. And as you're looking at this, I pulled up some data, right? This is from Investopedia, that the BLS shows that approximately 20% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years of being open. 45% fail during the first 5 years. 65% during the span of 10 years. So you got 65. I mean, the stats are actually more than 65% if you add the other percentages in the early years. And only 25% of new businesses make it 15 years or more. And why is that? If you ask yourself, well, when I got started here, not everybody has access to the 2 things I got. One, I had access to a direct mentorship that I had that was willing to teach me what they'd done to do it. So what Dan has done in a couple decades, I was able to do in a decade. And the same thing, I have people in my business that, what I did in 10 years, they did in 4, or they did in 3.5 years. And I'm just so excited because I have access to that. Proximity is power. If there's a slogan for today, right? But the other side of it, I had access to a system, a serious, legitimate business that works. And I had access to that. You combine those 2 things, you condense timeframes and collapse activity, and you get to your financial independence number quicker. And so as you're looking at this slide, right, for the typical, unless you're a franchise, which the challenge with franchises is a ton of investments, whether it's a McDonald's or whatever the case might be, right? The knowledge I need, right? The demand, right? If I'm just opening up any kind of business, I got to look at the need, the risk, knowledge, time. I got to look at all those facets and make sure I can scale my business and thrive with that. So as you're looking at this, I've had a privilege to meet several times in my career. In my early part of the career and later part, I had a chance to meet a guy named Robert Kiyosaki, which I want to share with you one quick concept. One of the things that he's taught, probably the most profound thing he's taught in his book, right, is these 4 ways to make an income, or you're earning ways to make a living. And so what he describes, the left side of the quadrant, right, is your employee and self-employed. The right is the business owner and investor. And the difference between 2, he said, the only way to become financially independent is my income needs to come from the right side of the quadrant. Otherwise, I'm working for the rest of my life. So which means if I'm not saving as an employee, I'm going to stay an employee for the rest of my life. If I'm not saving as a real estate agent, making self-employed money, I'm going to work for the rest of my life unless I own a business or invest my money and all of that stuff, because I'm constantly trading time for money. So the left side of the quadrant, if you understand one thing today, is I'm constantly trading time for money. So what happens with most people as they increase their income, they continuously increase their liability. What do I mean by that? They get a bigger loan, a bigger house, a better car. and all of it is in a liability section. And they are stuck in a rat race because they constantly have to grind to pay these liabilities, and they never set themselves free, right? And so that's why Robert Kiyosaki says, hey, I want a Lamborghini. Well, I'm going to open up a business that produces the income for a Lamborghini payment, and then I'm going to go get a Lamborghini, right? Most middle class don't think like that. And this is one of the concepts that we share. If you can, we can get you to think like a business owner and an investor, you'll be free of the rat race, which is 80% of the population. And that's our crusade from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Think about this for a second. We give a shot to the average the average person out there, give them a shot for their dreams. And thank God somebody approached me about this and believed in me, encouraged me, right, when I was down, and taught me some things and got me through the tough times. And man, I migrated to this country 14 years ago. I'm half Filipino, half white, but I grew up after the Vietnam War. My dad went straight to the Philippines, and that's kind of my childhood was out there. And we came out here in 1997, right? We started in welfare, Section 8, food stamps, you name it. Man, we were in a city called Diamond Bar. And man, I said, man, is this all there is, right? I mean, this is different from Hollywood, and and what we see. I said, I'm sure there's something better and bigger. And I was thinking these thoughts as a teenager. And I remember there's a church across where we lived, and I would just constantly go there and just pray, man. I go, man, I'm sure there's something better. Give me some hope, give me some answers, because this can't be it. And along the way, I found myself in real estate. When I was actually, while I was in high school, I ended up working my last 6 months of my senior year. I was working for a real estate company. I was doing some marketing for them, telemarketing stuff. And I was doing that 4 to 9 every night. So I would do school in the daytime, and from 4 to 9, I would hustle and make some calls. On the weekend, I was actually selling some cars just to enhance our situation, because I wanted to help my mom, and I wanted to have better food and all that stuff. Back then, you couldn't take your welfare, or it's called EBT now. You couldn't take it to the fast food. Fast food to us back then was luxury, right? You can only buy food stamps with raw food, like stuff that's not cooked. I don't know if you guys know that. That was how long that's. But I wanted just to have something better for my family, and it started with my mom. And obviously, as I started having a wife and kids, it was for them and having a better future. But this is whether it's for you, whether this message resonates to you, maybe someone you know, but we're looking for we're looking for individuals. We have a philosophy in business, right? I'm gonna talk about our system here in a bit, but our philosophy in business, you can't judge. There's never been a test, and will never be a test that can measure the heart of a man or woman. It just doesn't exist. There's so many people in my business, I could have judged them initially, and then you go, man, that dude was tough. Man, he can handle adversity. I look at so many different individuals, and it's easy to judge, right? And as I look at this, man, I am so glad this company doesn't judge just by my degree or this. By the way, I have a PhD, primary high school diploma. Barely graduated, because I was just so curious to learn other stuff as I was going through school. And I did a couple months in college, and I jumped right I was in real estate already at that time, even though I was doing that. And then I saw this platform, our system, where, man, I got licensed in this industry. By the way, there's some licensing involved when you're looking at our platform. There's some licensing to help out families, and it's pretty simple. Back in the day, I had to get 3-4 credentials. Now you get into one, and you can get it in a month or 2 weeks, or some associates of ours got it in 3 days. And then you go from that process to becoming an agent, and then you can have you could be an agency owner. And then later on, you can have there's ownership position as you go through our system here, where you can transition from license to agent to agency owner to building other agents, building other agency owners and all that. So give you an idea, we had 11 offices prior to COVID. We had 11 locations coming from Redlands, and we were all in California. From Redlands all the way to Oxnard, every 30 miles we had an office, right? 7-figure rent. I mean, probably $1.5 million in rent between all of those offices, right? Stretching out 11 locations and all that. Right now, how many offices we got? 0. We have one admin office, pretty small one. Outside of that, we have nothing. We went from that to, where did that 1.5 million go? To everybody else's pocket in this call that's an associate with our team and all that. So we have transformed our industry from literally, we've grown 40% year over year during COVID, and it's only about to get better. Now, let's talk about a couple of things as I wrap up with you guys on compensation, as I share with you guys a couple of thoughts on compensation. We get paid on the production side of things, right? What does that mean? I get paid with my personal efforts, right? So I help out families and I make a living that way. So you guys saw what Dan was sharing about the 6 steps. So I share our concepts about, 6 steps to getting to financial independence. I help out a family. That's about a 2 to 3 hour process. We get paid, right? We get paid by the companies and carriers that we work with. We get what's called an advance from them, and we get paid accordingly, depending on what type of product that we move for that, whatever's suitable for that family. The second thing is we have trails for any kind of investment products that we move. We get trails, and renewals are for any kind of insurance products that we do. And then we get bonuses. This is a monthly thing that we get a chance to participate in. It's a pro rata share of the entire company's profit that we get to share in every month. And then you got your agency, and then you got your royalty income with the leadership that you develop, right? You get a royalty income similar to a franchise. We have a leadership royalty that we get a chance to create here as we expand and open up. And I used to say locations, but we got Zoom locations now, which is in the comfort of your own home, right? So on the compensation side, there's 4 areas. If we were to break this down, pretty simple. One is my personal efforts, right? I'm going to get paid for my personal efforts. The second is my agency income, which means it's basically having your management spread and we call it a supervisory override, as you're supervising people, managing and training and facilitating and helping them basically learn this from A to Z. They're learning how to work the business. You're getting an agency income for that. The other side of it is expansion income. So now we're in all 50 states. We got, whether you have a business in Arkansas or Hawaii, Arizona, California, wherever it might be, we get paid for expanding our company and facilitating growth. The last one is bonuses, which I went over that. And the bonus income, again, it's a pro rata share of how well you're doing in your company. So the better you do, the better your team does, the better income, the more bonuses you get, which is pretty awesome, right? So let me give you some stats real quick, kind of give you an idea on the stats here on average earnings company-wide. Right. So from a company standpoint, the average earning, we have a position called senior marketing director, which we make this available for everyone to achieve. So it's a senior marketing director position. It's an ownership position. Oh, that's my timer. I just put a timer for myself there, but it's a ownership position in where you get a chance to have ownership. The average income for that position is $68,000. The highest is $593. By the way, these stats are kind of outdated and then these are other, if you acquire a couple more licensing, 81,000 all the way to 908. An executive marketing director is nothing more than somebody that's opened up 3 agents, helped develop 3 agency owners, and that's 210,000 all the way to 1.1. CEO 472 all the way 1.9. What's the difference with that? The only difference here with every position here is how many agency owners you've developed. So the first one is basically just having your own agency. The rest is developing other agency owner. That's how we facilitated our growth. And that's how Dan has a vested interest in me winning. Not only winning, but thriving. There's a difference between a surviving business owner and a thriving business owner, right? Dan has a vested interest in me thriving in business and being my best version of myself. And that's probably the key to this. There's always a next level. There's always the better version of you. And a lot of times, once you get past the money, it's not even about that. It's about, instilling greatness in people and becoming a better version of yourself. So as I wrap up, I want to share with you guys a few stories here. Just a couple of stories of some associates we have in our team. One is Mike and Joanne Austria. Their previous background is they're actually both come from nursing background. Mike was a dialysis nurse. He was working 12-hour days, and actually he's the gentleman that got his license in 4 days. By the way, to get your license, just to kind of give you an idea, it's about average of about $300 to $400, depending on what state you're in. But that's it. I spent thousands of dollars to get my real estate license. I had to do it live in a classroom where you can do it all online. be able to do it online and get your license within 3-4 days, just like Mike Austria did. Some people that take their time take 30 days. Some people I see 6 months. Obviously, it depends on how much time you put into it. But obviously, we give you the commitment we have as when you get started here. We are giving you exactly what your commitments are. So if you put in 50%, we'll give you 50%. You give it 100%, we're going to pour into you based on your commitment. Another one is Monica Carter, right? She is HR executive in entertainment, author, public speaker, incredible lady. You guys will get a chance to meet. Another one is Jeremiah and Gabby Pangan. Previous background was a CPA. Before that, he was a student. Actually, he was a student when he got started with us. And he was getting his CPA license while he was training with us. And he has a successful practice, but his heart and soul is here in our crusade and our mission here. April and Montago, previous background was accounting, 10 years, dialysis technician for another medical technician for 13 years on top of that. Next one is Gisela Vasquez, another nurse, ICU nurse that we have. Stephanie Goldman, you guys heard from the beginning, her previous background. And I'm just impressed with all these people that I get a chance to lead and help and all that stuff. Previous background was she had a doctorate in law in USC, 25 years in real estate development and construction. Jorge and Griselda Cardenas, they were furniture sales. I remember Jorge driving into our office and had a bunch of furniture in his back of his pickup and just hustling and all that stuff. That's what he did. And he transitioned here to making hundreds of thousands of dollars and setting his family free. I'm just so proud of that family there. Tita Lizan, previous background. Imagine being a nurse for 35 years. And then she meets me. It's like a contrast. I'm the impatient. And I get to be blessed with someone like Tita that teaches me patience and then brings me a colossal of 50 to 100 people just like her in her age group. Man, I tell you, that taught me some patience there when you're around 50 to 160, 70-year-olds, you know. So anyway, that was fun times. That was a decade ago, you guys. Next one. Right, you got a couple more here. Jermaine Bautista, previous background with health administrator. Another hero in our team, Aubrey Martinez, ICU nurse. I remember him just going through it. He was kind of stuck being in middle class just because he was drowning with debt. And man, we went over some things to free up his time so he can work less hours because he was working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts. I mean, there's no way to escape. And then it was graveyard. So think about, when do you sleep? When do you eat? When do you hang out with your wife? When do you see your kids? What we do for families is freaking amazing, man. When you understand the crusade from the opportunity standpoint that we bring to the table, similar to what Airbnb does and an Uber, but it's just magnified because there's fulfillment because you're dealing with human lives, right? When you're dealing with things, it doesn't have the same capacity of fulfillment. When you're dealing with human lives, man, there's fulfillment all the way around. That's what energizes me on a daily basis, right? A few more here. Joe and SP Morales, right? Previous profession was a teacher and working with troubled young youth. My brother here, Nathan and Precious Ireton, previous background was a college student, and then he was working with me with, you know, whatever endeavor we were doing. And at that time, it was the telemarketing gig that we were doing. And then that's mine, right? I don't know. I told him to take out the dropout, but I guess dropout in real estate. All right, next one. As we wrap up here, you guys, today, I want to ask you guys 3 questions. There's either 3 facets that you're looking at. One is, man, I love what you do for families. I want to hear more about it. I want to take advantage of this free financial strategy because you were invited here by someone that cared enough about you. Initially, you thought you were doing them a favor. Hopefully by the end of this, man, you're thanking them for inviting you here and getting a shot for this. We didn't get, you know, obviously a lot of this is very detailed information that we would cover with you individually, whether from a client standpoint or what interests you maybe as a part-time or referral partner, or maybe you're looking at this from a full-time or business owner aspect. Maybe you've owned businesses already and you go, man, I want to expand and I want to take a look at the financial industry and how I can have a market share in that industry. So whatever it is that intrigue you the most, make sure you see the person who invited you. Stephanie, I want to give the floor back to you. Thank you guys so much. And it was an honor speaking to you guys today.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I couldn't unmute there for a second. Wow, what a great wrap up, Paul. I don't want to take any thunder out of that. Here's what I'm going to encourage you guys to do. hopefully you realize that the overriding message here is never give up on your dreams, either from a financial standpoint or career standpoint. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is to reach out to the person that invited you right after this call and set up a time. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, give them the courtesy to set up a phone call and let them know what intrigued you most about this and how we're here to help and how we can do that for you.